We're talking about getting a dog and naming her Juniper, and so that name has been stuck in my head. Anyway, not the same names.
I cannot stand the way you look at me.
Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. Today is August 15th, and starting tonight, I have a weekend readathon that I'm going to be participating in. I have been in such a vlogging mood recently, and I thought it would be fun to vlog my weekend reading for the Escape readathon. In case you didn't know, every single month I co-host a 24 and 48 hour readathon with my bestie Stasia. This is a readathon that I created back in 2020 and very quickly brought Stasia on to co-host with me. We turned it into a monthly thing where the goal is to read for 24 hours within the 48-hour time period. We don't really try to follow that at this point anymore. The goal is just to spend some dedicated time reading, making some progress on your TBR, knocking out some prompts that we give, and just having fun reading as a community. We have been on Discord with this readathon for several years now and so enjoy everyone's participation with us. We so enjoy doing live sprints and chatting in our Discord and just having a great time at least one weekend a month. This month is a little bit special because we did have 2 rounds. Our first round was the very first weekend of August. Our participants in the Discord always choose the rounds. We let them vote on the dates that we read for Escape, and they tied for 2 different weekends, so we just decided to go ahead and have chaos and to do 2 rounds of Escape in August. So tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time officially kicks off the second round for the month. I do not typically vlog these weekends, but for the first time in a very, very long time, I have nothing going on this weekend, and honestly, I'm just so excited about it. I don't think I've had an empty weekend since before our wedding last month, which has been great. But I am also very excited to spend the weekend reading and relaxing and not having to worry about going somewhere or being someplace on time or having to get ready for something that we have going on. I really want to take advantage of a couple days of nothing and just see how much I can read. And once again, I've been in a vlogging mood, so we're going to vlog it. I don't typically vlog this readathon because I always have stuff going on or I just forget to read, but that's not going to happen for this round. We're going to read a bunch hopefully and knock off at least 2, if not 3 or 4 books this weekend. We do typically give 4 prompts for every round. You can follow them, you don't have to. I try to use at least a couple prompts to guide my reading. For this round, I'm going to try to read 4 books for all 4 prompts. We'll run through them really fast. Will my mind change on some of these? I hope not, but who knows what will happen. This weekend could be chaos, but as long as I'm reading, I will be happy. Our first prompt for this round is to read a book that is less than 300 pages, and for that prompt I chose The Woman in the Library. This is a book that Stasia has recently read and really liked. I had grabbed it at the library because I had been kind of seeing it around recently with the author's newest release coming out at some point in this month. It sounds very interesting. It's called Five Found Dead. I have not personally read this one though, and Stasia read it recently and liked it. I had already picked it up from the library when I heard that she was reading it, and I've decided to go ahead and try to binge it. This book sits at right around 250 pages, which makes it a really nice length. I like books that are 300 pages or less sometimes, a lot of times, and I'm hoping to binge this one really fast. Maybe start off with this one today. Not maybe, most likely start off with this one today, get some reading in, and maybe finish the whole book tonight. I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea what this one is about, but it's a thriller about books, so I am looking forward to it. I also have a sticky note in here that says to start timer because this month I'm going to try to log my time reading for Escape versus just logging books that I finish. I'm going to see how many hours I end up reading this weekend, so I'm going to put this sticky note in all my books that tells me to start the timer so I can track my minutes and hours of reading. Our next prompt is to read a book with purple on the cover For this prompt, I will be reading and finishing A Wreck You Make Me by Saffron A. Kent. I got an arc of this book last week. It is already out. Reviews are not due yet, but I am trying to get this one done in a timely manner. I am almost 50% of the way through this one. It is a very long book though. The Kindle version is over 500 pages, so I feel like every time I pick it up, I haven't actually made that much progress, even though I am really enjoying it. But the goal is to finish it by Saturday night, by tomorrow night at the latest. I'll give you all my thoughts on these books in future updates, but to give a quick synopsis for this one, this is about our two main characters, Jupiter and Shepherd. Her name could actually also be Juniper, but I'm pretty sure it's Jupiter. Let's confirm that really fast though. Okay, yes, her name is Jupiter. We're talking about getting a dog and naming her Juniper, and so that name has been stuck in my head. Anyway, not the same names. Her name is Jupiter. She has been kind of in love with our main male character, Shepherd, for the last 8 years or so. She's been watching him. She has been a part of kind of like their family vibe just because she's really good friends with Shepherd's younger sister, and she's kind of in love with him. But he has been dating and then proposed to a girl who is actually in love with his twin brother. So there's been a bunch of drama revolving that. They've been broken up, and Shepherd is trying to move on from the girl that he was in love with, who is actually in love with his twin brother. And he now has his eyes on Jupiter and wants to use her to move on from this other woman who broke his heart. Turns out though, she knows this already, Jupiter knows this, but they are step siblings. So you have this very taboo element. Shepherd has no idea. Their dad, or her stepdad, his dad is kind of a scumbag, but he has no idea that they're actually step siblings and is desperate to use her to move on. This one's very toxic, very taboo, but I'm also kind of liking them. So we'll see how this one goes. I have read several books by Saffron. I've really enjoyed most of them. They get a little bit intense at times, and I don't typically read that anymore. It's been a very recent shift in my personal reading, but I do really love her writing, and I really like Saffron A. Kent. Her books are just very easy to read and engage with, so I'm hoping to finish this one this weekend. It has been great. I also have other arcs from these various like influencer groups that I need to read, so I really need to finish this one. So next week I can start reading some other arcs that I've gotten from little influencer groups that I am now a part of. But yeah, goal is to finish this one. If not tonight, then probably tomorrow at some point. The next prompt was to read a book that a host chooses. So I had Stasia choose my book for this prompt, obviously, as we co-host this together. And for this prompt, she chose Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I recently did my reread of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That book was drawn out of my TBR box for my August TBR, and I read it, binged it, I loved it, and now I want to read book 2 and just dive right into it. I do have the audiobook for this one because that's how I read the first book when I did my reread of it earlier this month. Loved the full cast, loved all the sound effects. I'm excited to dive into this one this weekend as well. The last prompt is to read a book from your favorite genre, and for that I'll finally be starting the August Mending Hearts book club pick, which is Dream On, Ramona Riley by Ashley Herring Blake. This is a sapphic small town romance about an actor and a co-worker that she ends up meeting while trying to embrace her role. Our actor, Dylan, she moves to a small town. I believe the movie is filming there, but she really wants to embrace her character. And so she starts working at this small town cafe and meets Ramona, who is the main character of our title, and she also works at this cafe, and this is their love story. I have read Ashley Herring Blake in the past and really enjoyed their books, so I am very much looking forward to diving into this one for our book club this weekend. My goal is to be very official in logging and keeping tracks of my reading for this weekend because I shouldn't have a ton of things distracting me aside from just little bits of housework that I'll probably have to do. That's why I have audiobooks. I have audiobooks for 3 of my books for this weekend, so it should be easy to swap back and forth between formats and pop in an audiobook when I need to get stuff done around the house. I'll update y'all tonight once the readathon officially starts at 8 o'clock Central Time. We will be doing live sprints for the first time ever to kick off the readathon this weekend, which I'm very excited about. We do try to do live sprints at least once every time we have an escape round, but this is the first time that we are doing live sprints to kick off the readathon. So I am looking forward to hopping on the stage in a few hours to get some reading in and just start off the readathon strong, hopefully. I'll update y'all several times, though throughout the weekend I'll share better synopses of these books that I pick up. I think my goal is to start with The Woman in the Library and to see how far I can get in it tonight. But I'll update y'all in a couple hours once the readathon actually starts. We'll chat more. I'll give y'all my synopsis on this one and my current thoughts, as well as any other progress I might have made, and we will chat then. Hopefully I'll get some good b-roll and just some good footage for this video. I have really been focusing on vlogging recently and it's super fun, so I hope y'all enjoy this weekend reading vlog where hopefully I do nothing but read. I'm just tired already, you know. Oh. Dodged.
And now you got me painting roses on the bedroom floor. And Mr. Hazel Eyes, Mr. Golden Skies, you don't see what you're doing to me. And Mr. We're just friends, you know in the end it won't be pretty. It isn't fair the way you say my name, like a song I've never heard before.
It is already almost midnight, so I'm going to try to keep this update very short, but we are officially 4 hours into the August Escape readathon, and I have made some pretty good progress so far. First up, I did start The Woman in the Library, and I'm currently 96 pages into it. This book is very unique because pretty much the whole story is like, at least right now, it's a story within a story. So I'm going to try to explain in a way that makes sense. Who knows if I'll actually be able to do that though. But this is about a writer who is corresponding with somebody in the United States. This author lives in Australia and they are sending chapters of their new book to this person in the US to read, to comment on, to give advice, because this book is set in the US. So every single chapter is a new chapter of the book that is being written, and at the end of every chapter, our man in the US, whose name is Leo, is writing notes on the book and giving feedback and things like that. So it's completely a story within a story, but within the story you also have another story going on, because the main character of the story that is being written is also writing a book and has kind of gotten themselves directly involved, or indirectly involved I guess, in a potential murder that happened near a place where they were spending time. On a certain day, a murder happened in like the next room at the Boston Public Library. Right now, I don't know what to expect with this one. Everyone is very suspicious. I don't know who to trust. I don't really know what's real because of all these story within a story within a story elements. I don't really know who to trust, but I'm also very intrigued. So I do plan to binge the rest of this one tomorrow, ideally before our second round of live sprints start. We just wrapped up our first round of live sprints tonight. They were so much fun. Honestly, late night sprints might be the move on Fridays from here on out, for like whatever weekends I'm available to do so, because they were so much fun. So I might try to do that again very soon. But so far, I'm enjoying this one. We'll see where it goes and if I can share my thoughts without spoiling anything, because this plot is just very complex and I don't quite know what is happening at the moment, but it is good. And then I also read 57 pages of A Wreck You Make Me by Saffron A. Kent, and there have been two things that happened in this book that made me like put my hand over my mouth in shock just with the plot. I'm enjoying it a lot more. I have found myself at times feeling a little bit bored and like not skimming, that's not the right word, but like reading faster than I typically do to get through some of these slower parts. Like I'm still picking up on everything, but I'm definitely not spending as much time in the story as I typically do, I feel like. But we are following our two main characters. They both have a lot of trauma from childhood and growing up, and are trying to navigate some new realities that they are both involved with, and it's good so far. Is it toxic? Yes. Am I starting to like What's happening more than I was at the beginning? Also yes. So I'm hoping to also finish this book tomorrow, and I'll give you all my final rating on it then. I need to write a review for this one and post it everywhere for the tour group or the little indie publishing group that I'm reading it for. So I'll have to do that once I finish this one, but I am liking it better than I was. It's definitely not my favorite by Saffron A. Kent, but I am liking it. I'll be curious to see what ends up happening in the rest of the book. That's it for me for tonight. I have read 3 hours and 10 minutes so far, and I've read 153 pages during that time. So hopefully tomorrow we can at least double that progress and I can finish at least one book. But I'll hop in tomorrow morning with some more notes and updates, and yeah, we'll chat more then. Happy Saturday morning, y'all. It is 9:30-ish on August 16th. I woke up like 2 hours ago and listened to some more of The Woman in the Library while I was getting ready. I am officially at the halfway mark. I am 133 pages into this book, and it's safe to say that I am hooked on it. I really have no idea what's gonna come of the story in the end, but we've already had 2 plot twists occur, one of which I've been waiting for, but also was still super surprising, and I'm glad that it happened because there are a lot of characters in here who are very suspicious, and I soak that up in thrillers. I love that feeling of unreliability, of unlikability in characters, and having to kind of figure out like who they really are. And so we've gotten some twists with one major character, well, 2 major characters really, in the different stories that are going on, and I just want to know what's gonna happen. My goal is to binge this one and finish it right around the time that our book club sprint starts. I might be reading it a little bit during sprints, but hopefully I can finish it up before noon today. Got my coffee, got my book. It's gonna be a great day. I'll update you on a couple hours with some reading progress, and hopefully by then I'll at least have finished one book.
But it's a feeling I can't ignore. Oh, and Mr. Hazel eyes, Mr. Golden skies, you don't see what you're doing to me. And Mr. We're just friends, you know in the end it won't be pretty.
Good afternoon, y'all. It is 1:30 and I wanted to hop in because I have officially finished my first book for the weekend, The Woman in the Library, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it 4 stars. The story within a story element that I talked about last night was super fascinating. The whodunit behind everything I would never have guessed, and there's an element with the FBI in the present timeline of the book, not within the stories of the book, that I really enjoyed and kind of added another element of eeriness and just unreliability in our characters and what was actually going on. 4 stars to this one. Stasia called it a hidden gem during our live sprints a little bit ago, and I would very much agree. I don't quite remember how I found out about this book originally or the author's newest release, but I am glad that I picked it up and will hopefully get to read 5 Found Dead soon. They're not connected, I don't think, but it was kind of fun to read this one first before diving into another book that I thought sounds very interesting. The author apparently has another book out called After She Wrote Him. Never heard of it before either, but I might have to check it out also because I did like this one. And I think this author, as far as I'm aware, is pretty underrated because I have not seen her anywhere. So yeah, that's that one. Which means that next up I will be continuing to make progress in A Wreck You Make Me by Saffron A. Kent. I haven't read anything from that since my last updates, and I'll also be starting my new audiobook, which is For Dream on Ramona Riley, which is our August Mending Hearts Book Club pick. I'll hop in here in a few more hours with another update on my thoughts on the book so far. I may end up also starting my other book for the weekend, which is Good Girl Bad Blood, which I don't have right here with me. It's on my shelf, but I might start that one too and see if I can engage with that one while playing some Switch games maybe for a little while. I don't know, we'll see where the afternoon takes us, but it's only 1:30, so I still have much of the day to continue reading. I'll probably hop in once or twice more today and we'll chat some more later with my progress. morning, y'all. Happy Sunday. I'm here with my next update. I realized that I did not do another update after my afternoon one yesterday, which is fine. I have not yet finished anything else, but I am almost done with A Wreck You Make Me by Saffron A. Kent and hope to finish that within the next hour or so of reading. And then I also, after my last progress report yesterday, started both Dream On Ramona Riley and Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I'm currently 20 pages into this one and 50 pages into Dream On, and so far I have to say I'm really enjoying both of these. I started playing, as you probably saw in some clips from last night, Tiny Bookshop on my Switch, and that kind of pulled my attention away from reading for a while, although now that I'm into that game, I think I can listen to audiobooks and play at the same time. So I'm probably going to make a lot of progress in Good Girl Bad Blood before the readathon is officially over in about 9.5 hours. So I've got some time to make some progress still. My first goal is to finish A Wreck You Make Me by Saffron A. Kent, though. I have less than 100 pages left of that one. I'm on page like 440 or so out of like 530 pages. So I am very close to finishing up that one. Honestly, it's not my favorite by Saffron. It may be my second to least favorite. We'll see how the last 90 pages or so shape up to be, but it just feels very repetitive. I'm not as invested in our characters or storyline as I have been with other books in the series, so kind of a bummer for that one, but I am still planning to give it like 3.5 stars. I do like it. I do think that Saffron A. Kent's books are very easy to get through, very addicting, but I also feel that this one is very repetitive, and it's honestly just not my favorite that I've read by her, unfortunately. So I will be finishing up that one soon though, and can make my reviews live for that book hopefully. And then I don't know if I'll finish either Good Girl Bad Blood or Dream On Ramona Riley, but the goal is to at least make some really good progress in one of them. I have read for almost 9.5 hours so far this weekend, which is really great. I've done a great job of keeping track of my time every time I pick up a book to read. I'll give you all my final stats tonight with my total page count in the end and total hours read. My goal is to add like another 3.5 hours onto that 9.5 hour read count before the readathon is over. That is my goal. We will see. But I'm kind of hoping to just finish my ebook, and then we're gonna see if I can binge one of these two books. It'll probably be Good Girl Bad Blood, so I can play my Switch while doing so, because I'm not annotating this one, I'm just listening to it. So that's probably what I will end up doing. And then of course, Dream On Ramona Riley will be my priority for this upcoming week for the book club. So that is a quick little update. We're about to go to the gym for a little bit. I'm gonna probably bring Holly Jackson with me to listen to while I'm walking on the treadmill. And then when I get back, I'll be reading my ebook and making lunch and working on this one some more. I'll either hop in here once or twice more depending on what my progress looks like, but I'll for sure wrap y'all up at the end of the readathon with my final stats and books read and just chatting about all the fun things that I got up to this weekend.
Don't wanna feel the way you make me feel. A peculiar shade of blue. And now you got me feeling all the shades of indigo. Because I can't have you. Oh, and Mr. Hazel Eyes, Mr. Golden Skies, you don't see what you're doing to me. Oh, and Mr. We're just friends, you know in the end it won't be pretty. Oh, Mr. Hazel Eyes, don't you realize you don't see what you're doing to me? Mr. We're just friends, you know in the end it won't be me. You got me painting roses. You got me painting roses. You got me painting roses.
Happy Monday. I should have done some updates for y'all yesterday and I just did not. But I am here to do a final wrap up for this weekend because I did end up reading a ton. I finished a couple books, not quite as much as I wanted to at the beginning of the weekend, but one of the books that I started I'll finish today, and I still read close to 1,000 pages in the span of 48 hours, which I am super happy with. I did film a couple of clips yesterday and Saturday, so y'all are able to see kind of what I was up to while listening and reading my books. But this weekend was super relaxing overall. I did some cooking, did some baking, we cleaned the house a little bit, did a bunch of laundry. I started a new Nintendo Switch game, which I am very much enjoying so far. And I just got to read and rest and relax and also be productive, which I always really enjoy doing on weekends. And I don't typically have 2.5 or 3 full days to do that. So I certainly took advantage of it this weekend in terms of the productivity as well as the reading. So to get y'all caught up on what I ended up accomplishing this weekend, I ended up reading for 14 hours total, which allowed me to read 996 pages total in the span of 48 hours, but technically within the span of 14 hours of reading. My voice is still also scratchy from waking up this morning because I haven't talked to anybody really, except for my husband before he left for work. But let's run through the books that I did read or start super quickly. First was The Woman in the Library. I started this one on Friday evening and finished it on Saturday afternoon. This one was a very short and very interesting thriller, super underrated. I really had no idea who to trust, what the truth was, and that aspect of the book made it super addicting. I really enjoyed this one. If you like books about books and also thrillers about books and writing, I would recommend this one. I also finished A Wreck You Make Me by Saffron A. Kent. I did end up giving this book 3 stars. It was not my favorite by the author, unfortunately. I did like it in the end. I do really like this found family element that the Thorne siblings so nicely adapt and bring in people into their home. I think it's very, very sweet. They are super protective of each other and just genuinely loving, even though they do kind of argue a lot. But the romance aspect of this book very much fell flat for me compared to other books that I've read by Saffron. I did not like all the back and forth. I do enjoy a good toxic, dramatic romance sometimes. This one was not it for me though. 3 stars to it. Am I glad that Jupiter and Shepard got their happy ending? Yes, but this was not my favorite romance that I've read by any means. I also started and almost finished Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I got to page 281 out of maybe 400 or so. Yeah, just about 400 pages. So I will definitely be finishing up the audio for this one today. I am obsessed with the sequel to Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It takes place not very long after Pip solved the mystery in the first book. She is now trying to help out a childhood friend whose older brother went missing, and she is trying to figure out kind of what happened in the days and weeks leading up to this brother's disappearance, and is he alive or is he not alive? We don't know yet, but I really enjoy the mixed media element in this one. Pip is a little bit intense for me, and I think that's not super healthy all the time in this one, but I do love her. I love her relationship with Ravi. I'm excited to finish the story. I may end up binging book 3 really fast this week at some point just because the audiobooks are so easy to engage with the full cast, the mixed media, all those fun things that make reading just very bingeable and addicting. So I might keep going with the series later, but I did read 281 pages this weekend and will be finishing this one up today. And then finally, I read the first 45 pages of Dream on Ramona Riley. I did plan to make more progress in this one, but Good Girl, Bad Blood kind of grabbed hold of my attention more, so I continued with this one instead of like balancing both of these books. But this is a priority for me this week, obviously. This is our August Mending Hearts book club pick. It's so cute so far. I'm very curious to see what happens between 2 main characters. I love small town romances, and this one is just so romantic and just very sweet so far. I'm excited to see what happens in it. I feel super great about what I ended up reading this weekend. I didn't finish as many books as I wanted to, but I did read almost 1,000 pages, which I love so much. I'm on a roll for this week and hope to keep up that great momentum with finishing books throughout the week, as well as I guess I've done around the house, apply for jobs, prep for some interviews, and things like that. In the midst of all that chaos, we're gonna get some more reading done this week. But that is all that I have for today's reading vlog. If you're interested in joining our next round of the Escape Readathon, which will be in September, feel free to join our Discord down below. We would love to have you. It's such a fun and chill server. Everyone is great, and it's always very enjoyable to read with them every month. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read anything great recently, but that is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.